Alhamdulillah wa kafa wa salatu wa salamu ala ibadihi allazina istafa. Amma ba'du fa'auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Wa an ibn Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma qala أخذ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بمنكبي فقال كن في الدنيا كأنك غريب وعابر سبيل. وكان ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما يقول إذا أمسيت فلا تنتظر الصباح وإذا أصبحت فلا تنتظر المساء وخذ من صحتك لمرضك ومن حياتك لموتك. Rawahul Imam al-Bukhari rahimahullah. Dear brothers and sisters and sons and daughters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Although last morning at the end of the Dars of Hadith yesterday I announced that today I'll be taking some ahadith out of this collection of 40 ahadith compiled by Imam Nawawi regarding the structure of Islam, how to preserve it, how to strengthen it. But then I decided that today I am going to take, and I announced it in the evening session, as you must be remembering, I want to take certain ahadith, 4 ahadith out of this collection of 40 ahadith, which discuss what is commonly known as tasawwuf. So to say, we shall be understanding today the tasawwuf Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, suluk Muhammadi. As I told you, the two terms of tasawwuf, suluk and maqamat. Suluk is you are traveling. You are covering some distance. And stations come one after the other during this journeying. Now one thing I must say, and I said it before also, that is most unfortunate that a term made its way into the Islamic academic world, which was absolutely alien, which has no root in the whole of Quran, no mention of it in the whole of Hadith. What was more unfortunate was that it displaced and replaced one of the most fundamental terms of Quran and Hadith. It became a barrier. This tasawwuf, which is so commonly used, not only by the common people, by the very learned people also. It has no root whatsoever in Quran. It has never appeared in the whole of the Hadith. So much so that its root is also doubtful, whether it is from Suf or Safa. The people who want to defend this term, they say that it is from Safa. You should have safai, cleanliness within you, the tazkiyah of your nafs. But by no rule of Arabic grammar, from the root of safa, this word tasawwuf can be derived. The only possibility is that it can be derived from suf. Suf means wool. Because the early Sufiyas, they were known, and as they were called, they used to wear woolen dress, without any underdress, mind you. Don't think of the dresses of today. The undershirt, and then the shirt, and then something else, and then something else. There used to be one cloth, one shirt. And you can imagine if it is woolen, it will keep biting you. And that is what they wanted. To relinquish the comforts and luxury and to remain in some sort of pain so that their attention remains focused to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the only possibility, that from suf tasawwuf can be derived. But here again, this word has not appeared in Quran or Hadith for that issue or for that matter at all. Now, second thing that I want to mention here, it's a very sad incident that took place about an year and a half ago. There's a big circle of tasawwuf. In Pakistan also there are many adherents to that circle. In Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, there are also many people attached to it. Now, some people attached to this circle, Maulana Muhammad Akram Awan is the murshid or the spiritual guide of this circle. Some people belonging to that circle, they took a speech of mine, which I had delivered about tasawwuf, in which I had analyzed this and this and this part of tasawwuf is okay, compatible with Quran and Hadith. Not only compatible, these are the main objectives and goals of the teaching of Quran and Hadith. But such and such and such aspects are wrong. They have intruded into the world of Islam from outside, either from the religions, especially the philosophical and mystic religions of India, or from the Neoplatonism, which was the school of philosophy and mysticism started in Alexandria by Plotinus. These have been two centers of mysticism, very important. Egypt, Alexandria, Neoplatonism it is called, but actually it's Plotinus, who is the chief originator. Big philosopher, big sage, no doubt. And on the other hand, in India, Shankaracharya, the biggest exponent of Wahdatul Wujud. Same is the case with Plotinus, biggest exponent of Wahdatul Wujud in the West. Another one in the West was Ibn Arabi of Andalus. I think by far the biggest among all the four. There are four exponents, most important exponents of Wahdatul Wujud. Two from India, two from the West. Plotinus of Alexandria, Ibn Arabi of Andalus, Shankaracharya of India, and Abdul Qadir Bedil of India. But from these two sides, many things creeped into, intruded into the Islamic mysticism, as you may call it. Now I, in my speech, analyzed this and this and this aspect of tasawwuf is okay. Not only compatible with Quran and Sunnah, but also they are the main objectives. But this and this aspect, it is from some foreign origins, they are alien, they are wrong. Now what do? Some brothers of that circle living in Riyadh, they picked my cassette, deleted the portions which were criticizing the tasawwuf and joined together all the portions which were supporting tasawwuf, and they marketed it. And they marketed it as a speech of mine. This is the biggest dishonesty. And coming from a circle belonging to and claiming to be a circle of tazkiyah nafs. जो कुफ्र अस्काबा बरखिजत को जा अमानत मुसलमानी. And I recall here Professor Yusuf Salim Chishti, rahimahullah. Brother Imran knows him very well. He has been a student of his in Karachi. He used to teach at the Islamic Center of North Nazimabad, Karachi, the comparative religion. During the summer months which he used to pass in Karachi, he couldn't bear the scorching heat of Lahore. Rest of the year he used to stay in Lahore. He compiled a book on Islamic mysticism. And one section of that book was under the title Islami Tasawwuf mein Ghair Islami Nazriyat ki Amezish. How the non-Islamic concepts intruded and entered and crept into Islamic mysticism. Whole of the book was published by the Department of Awqaf, except this part. I took the courage of publishing that book, that part of the book. The rest of it was published by the Department of Awqaf of Punjab, but deleting this portion. I published that portion. And in that portion of the book, or the book now because we publish it as a separate book, he quoted incidents that it happened in the very life of certain people, certain authors. For example, an author is living in Damascus and he has become famous. Now one of such authors, he went to another city, say Kufa or Basra or Baghdad, went to the mosque, and there was a circle in which someone was delivering lecture on his book. Now the author is there in the audience, and his book is being taught here. And he sees that the ideas which never occurred to him, they were being attributed to him, written in the book. So I have experienced such a thing in my own life also. Still I am living. The whole cassette is there. But this is something very sad, very sad, very sad. For me it was more important regarding one special aspect. I was shocked that is tasawwuf so weak that it needs such support? They need my support. It shows they don't have any self-confidence. This is another aspect. Anyhow, what is Islamic tasawwuf, if I can accept this term for the time being? I've already told you, it is nothing except ihsan. The real term of Quran and Sunnah is ihsan. This is the last and the highest position or station of spiritual elevation of a person. Islam, iman, ihsan. We have these three mentioned in the Hadith of Jibreel, and we have the same three in the ayah of Surah Ma'idah. لَيْسَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ جُنَاحٌ فِي مَا طَعِمُوا إِذَا مَا اتَّقَوْا وَآمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ ثُمَّ اتَّقَوْا وَآمَنُوا ثُمَّ اتَّقَوْا وَأَحْسَنُوا وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. And what is ihsan? That also we have understood. It's nothing except the intensity and depth of iman. Nothing else. When this iman bil ghaib reaches in its intensity and depth the level of iman bil shahada, when you start believing in the unseen just as you believe in what you see, if that distinction disappears for you regarding the intensity of your belief and conviction, the distinction will remain there. Ghaib is ghaib and shahada is shahada. But your iman bil ghaib reaches the intensity, the same intensity with which you believe in what you can see with your own eyes. This is ihsan. And let me quote here a saying of Confucius, the biggest sage China has produced. He says there's nothing more real than what cannot be seen, and nothing more certain than what cannot be heard. These external senses, you can have doubt about them. Aanch mein beeneem, babedaris yarab ya be khab. Oh Allah, what I am seeing, whether I am seeing it in a vision, in a dream, or in the real material world. You can't believe what you are seeing. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes you feel it is some hallucination. There's no voice. You know, my ears are telling a lie. You can doubt your external senses and perceptions. But the inner perception that you get, there is a level when all doubts disappear, and that is the level discussed in ayah number 15 of Surah Al-Hujurat. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ ثُمَّ لَمْ يَرْتَابُوا. No raib. Well, this is ihsan. Please note these things as formulas of algebra. There is no tasawwuf except ihsan, and there is no ihsan except the intensity and depth of iman and nothing else. If you keep these premises in your view, then you will never be led astray. You will never feel the need to go this way, that way. How to attain that, how to attain that. The thirst within you. I am recalling one of the sentences of that long hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. وَمَنِ ابْتَغَى الْهُدَى فِي غَيْرِهِ أَضَلَّهُ اللَّهُ. Whosoever wants to have guidance from anything else other than Quran, Allah will definitely lead him astray. So if you have any other concept of tasawwuf, any other concept of iman, please wash your minds of all such concepts. All those things are alien to Islam. They have intruders. They are the intruders, intruded into the world of Islam, from the east or the west, from the Neoplatonism of Alexandria, or from the Vedanta of India. Now, as I told you, that in this collection of 40 hadiths, Imam Nawawi has selected ahadith from this aspect and that aspect, the third aspect, the fourth aspect of deen. Today we are going to study 4 ahadiths which discuss this special aspect of Islam and iman. Now, let me mention one thing more before we start reading the text of the hadith. And it's very important for a student of Quran to note it. Generally we think that the first thing to which the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ called was Tawheed. It's a mistake. If you read the early surahs of the Quran, those discuss resurrection and akhirah and inzar, not tawheed. Al-Qari'ah, Mal-Qari'ah, wa ma adraka Mal-Qari'ah. Al-Haqqah, Mal-Haqqah, wa ma adraka Mal-Haqqah. Amma yatasaalun anin nabai allazi hum fihi mukhtalifun. Kalla saya'lamun, summa kalla saya'lamun. What are these? أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم. The condemnation which came in Quran in the very beginning was for those who believe that this is the only life. And because they believe it is the only life that we have, no resurrection, morally they are bound to go down. Babar Bahesh Kosh, ke alam dobara nahi. That is why they are characters. Look to them. Who are they? أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. This is their character. كلا بل تحبون العاجلة وتذرون الآخرة بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى. The first subject, and I discussed this on that town hall meeting also. What was the starting point of the prophetic mission of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Ya ayyuhal muddassir, qum fa'anzir. Warn them, don't be mistaken. Don't take to the attitude, Babar Bahesh Kosh ke alam dobara nahi. زعم الذين كفروا أن لن يبعثوا قل بلى وربي لتبعثن ثم لتنبؤن بما عملتم وذلك على الله يسير. And I quoted one of the first sermons that the Prophet delivered. والله لتموتن كما تنامون ثم لتبعثن كما تستيقظون ثم لتحسبن بما تعملون ثم لتجزبن بالإحسان إحسانا وبالسوء سوءا وإنها لجنة أبدا أو لنار أبدا. Now, if somebody really believes in this, a verbal attestation is something else. Leave it aside, we are not discussing it. That is the basis of Islam. You will be accepted as a Muslim in this world. You will enjoy the rights of full citizenship in an Islamic state. You will be accepted as a member of Islamic society. That's all. We are discussing real iman. But if that real iman reaches the level of that conviction, what would be the result? Maybe we can imagine, but we will have to tax our capacity of imagination also, to imagine a person who really believes that the real life is the life of the hereafter. وَإِنَّ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانُ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. The real life is the life of the hereafter. Only if they had known it. To say you believe in it is easy, but to know it, not an easy thing. All the worldly attachments, all the worldly attractions distract you continuously, 24 hours a day, and 365 days of an year. Attractions and connections, relations. ये मालो दौलत दुनिया, ये रिश्ता ओ पैवंद, बुताने वहम खुमा, ला इलाहा इल्लल्लाह. Are these the idols of our imagination only? We are pursuing them. We are running after the shades and shadows, leaving alone the realities. But if this conviction in resurrection and the life hereafter becomes your real feeling, it becomes your hal, not qal only, what will be the result that is given in this hadith? And this is hadith number 40. Now, so to say, it is the collection of 40 hadiths, and this is hadith number 40, the final, the climax. Although Imam Nawawi has added another 2 ahadiths, really it is a collection of 42 ahadiths. And I am going to add another one to make it 43. But that is something which I am not going to discuss at this time. Now the result of real conviction in resurrection and the life of hereafter is given by this hadith. عن ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما قال. It is narrated from the son of Umar, Abdullah ibn Umar رضي الله عنهما. He said, أخذ رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بمنكبي. Now just imagine, Abdullah ibn Umar belongs to the second generation of Sahaba. I told you, 3 lines. First line, along with the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Bakr, Umar, Hamza, Abdul Rahman ibn Auf, Talha, Zubair, and so on and so forth. The second line, these younger generation, son of Abdullah ibn Abbas, Abdullah ibn Abbas, son of Abbas, son of Umar, Abdullah ibn Umar, son of Amr ibn al-As, Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, and so on and so forth. Now, keep in mind this gap of generation gap. And what the Prophet did, Ibn Umar says, he took hold of me by my shoulder, placed his hand on my shoulder, and said, Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharibun aw abiru sabil. Be in this world, live in this world, as if you are a stranger. You don't belong to this world. You belong somewhere else. This is not your place. Stranger. Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharibun aw abiru sabilin, or only a wayfarer, a traveler pursuing some path, some road. if you have interest in this world more than a traveler has to his road or path, you don't have the real iman. Live here as strangers. Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharibun abiru sabil. There's another hadith, the Prophet said, Mali walid dunya innama masali ka raqibin istadalla tahta shajaratin summa raha fatarakaha. What do I have to do with this world of yours? Mali walid dunya. I am like a traveler, a rider on a camel who stays for a while under the shade of a tree to take rest. And then he leaves it and takes to his path. Mali wali dunya innama masali karaqibin istadalla tahta shajaratin summa raha fatarakaha. It's not his house. It's not his home. Now try to feel it and try to assess yourself. حاسبوا أنفسكم من قبل أن تحاسبوا. Assess yourself before that day that you are assessed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what Allama Iqbal has said. वही है तेरे जमाने का इमाम बरहक जो तुझे हाजिर मौजूद से बेजार करे. Not that you love it, not that you like to be here. Ad-dunya sijnul mu'min wa jannatul kafir. Nobody likes to remain in prison. He has been sentenced to a term in prison. Our souls have been sentenced to a period of distance from Allah. It is from Allah. That is why the first couplet of the Masnavi of Imam Rum, what is it? Bishno aznaye chu hikayat mi kunat, was judai ha shikayat mi kunat. The melodious voice that is coming out of that nay, what will you call it? Flute. What is it? Bishno aznaye chu hikayat mi kunat, was judai ha shikayat mi kunat. It is complaining of separation. It was a part of a tree cut out from there. Now the voice that is coming out of it, which is thrilling your heart, is actually the complaint that it is making, because it has been separated from its root. And the same should be the condition of the soul and spirit of a person who has realized his soul, who has realized his spirit. And let me quote here another thing from Upanishad. Most of you must have heard it, I have repeatedly quoted it. Man in his ignorance identifies himself with the material sheaths which encompass his real self. The real self is something else. This body is a material sheath. Then these clothings are another material sheath. And this bedroom or the drawing room is another material sheath. These are the material sheaths covering the real existence of mine, and that is my soul and spirit. But due to ignorance, he identifies himself with the material sheaths. He just forgets his real essence. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسَهُمْ أُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْفَاسِقُونَ. Now to complete this hadith, this was the saying of the Prophet ﷺ as a murshid. I am now using this word as a murshid. He said to Abdullah ibn Umar, holding him by his shoulder, Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharibun aw abiru sabil. Wa kana ibn Umar radiyallahu anhuma yaqul. Now this is the saying of Hazrat Abdullah ibn Umar himself. This we call, according to technical terminology of hadith, it is asar. Khabar and asar. Khabar is from Prophet, asar is from the companions. But that is included in hadith. This is also hadith. Iza amsayta fala tantadris masa sabah. When you have the evening in this life, don't think that the morning will also come. Iza amsayta fala tantadril sabah. Don't wait for it. Don't think it will definitely come. I will rise again tomorrow from my sleep. Wa iza asbahta fala tantadril masa. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you another morning, don't be sure. You'll see the sunset of this day also. وَخُذْ مِنْ صِحَّتِكَ لِمَرَضِكَ. Try to take out the maximum from your health for the period of your disease. Maybe you are diseased, maybe you fall sick, and then you will not be able to do anything. So beforehand, try to compensate for that period of inactivity while you are still active, while you are still healthy. Try not only to fulfill the right of this time which you are passing, also to save something for the future, to compensate for the time when you may fall sick. وَمِنْ حَيَاتِكَ لِمَوْتِكَ. And from this life of yours, extract maximum for your death. I quoted another hadith, Ad-dunya mazra'atul akhirah. This world is the field where you have to sow the seeds. And akhirah is the place where you will reap the harvest. So you have to sow here to reap there. وكان ابن عمر رضي الله عنهما يقول إذا أمسيت فلا تنتظر الصباح وإذا أصبحت فلا تنتظر المساء وخذ من صحتك لمرضك ومن حياتك لموتك. رواه الإمام البخاري رحمه الله. Now come to hadith number 31. عن أبي العباس سهل بن السعد السعدي رضي الله تعالى عنه قال جاء رجل إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله دلني على عمل إذا عملته أحبني الله وأحبني الناس. فقال ازهد في الدنيا يحبك الله وازهد فيما عند الناس يحبك الناس. رواه Ibn Majah. This hadith is from the compilation of Sunan by Imam Ibn Majah rahimahullah. The Rawi Sahal ibn Sa'd as-Sa'idi radiyallahu anhu. He says, a person came to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam and he said, O Messenger of Allah, please tell me some act, some deed. Maybe if I am permitted to use this word in good sense, some trick. I want something by which I can get two things. that Allah comes to love me. And people also come to love me. Dullani ala amalin, tell me some deed, some action, some act, some trick. Iza amiltuhu, that when I have done, ahabbani Allah, Allah will love me. Wa ahabbani an-nas, and the people will also love me. The reply was, izhad fi dunya, renounce the luxuries and comforts of this world. This is zuhud. There are necessities that you have to have, because Allah has sent you. You have to preserve yourself. And for that purpose, وَإِنَّ لِنَفْسِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا وَإِنَّ لِزَوْجِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا وَإِنَّ لِزَوْرِكَ عَلَيْكَ حَقًّا. These are the huququl ibad that you have to give. But only that much which is essential. This is zuhud. Don't try to gather more comforts. Don't try to gather more luxuries. You need a house? Okay, it's your right. But not a palatial house. Not, extraordinarily furnished and decorated. No. A house. You need to cover your body. But the dress should be for only that purpose. Izhad fi dunya, izhad fi dunya, yuhibbuk Allah, Allah will love you. And the second thing, wazhad fima inda nas, and you behave as if you have no interest in what the people have. You are visiting a friend of yours, a relative of yours, and you find, certain things over there. And that person sees, his eyes are opened, he's seeing all these things with lustfully. He will hate you. And if he feels he has no interest in these things, what to speak of asking for anything? What to speak of begging? Izhad fima inda nas. Whatever is there with the people, their wealth, their belongings, their palatial houses, their furnished and decorated drawing rooms, you would just pass by them. Putting a glance as if you have no interest in these things. Bazaar se guzra hu, kharidar nahi hu. I am passing through the market, but I am not a purchaser. Yuhibbuk Allah, yuhibbuk an-nas, then the people will love you. This is another aspect of the same thing. If you are a stranger in this world, if you feel it is not your real life, it's not your real home, وَإِنَّ دَارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانِ, this will be the result. This will be the attitude. Now we come to the third hadith, that is number 19. عن أبي العباس عبد الله بن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال. The narrator is Abdullah, son of Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma. And Abbas was the uncle of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now the son of Abdullah was also Abbas. So an Abil Abbas, it has been narrated from the father of Abbas, that is Abdullah, who was the son of Abbas. This is the full name. And Abil Abbas Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma قال كنت خلف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Once I was behind the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. In another narration of this hadith we find كنت ردف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. You know, if you are sitting on a camel and somebody is sitting behind you on the same camel, he is your radif, riding the same camel or riding the same horse, two people. The one who is behind is radif, and that is the condition which is depicted in this hadith. Again note, Abdullah ibn Abbas belongs to the second generation. And here also you will find the same attitude, teaching. This is called irshad, murshid, who teaches the right thing, leads to the right path. Here Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is acting as an educator, as a teacher, as a mentor. قال كنت خلف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يوما فقال لي يا غلام. Well, I was sitting behind him on the back of the camel, going somewhere. Now the Prophet is making the best use of this time. فقال لي يا غلام, he said to me, oh my boy, إني أعلمك كلمات, I am going to teach you certain words, certain things, certain teachings. Now this is the essence of iman billah. The essence and the results and fruit of iman billah, in our selected course of study, they are discussed in Surah At-Taghabun. The first section of Surah At-Taghabun narrates the three fundamental articles of faith: iman billah, iman bil risalat, and iman bil akhirah. And the second section of Surah At-Taghabun deals with the fruits of iman. If it is real iman, if it has really entered your heart, if it has really penetrated your feelings and your thinking. Now what will be the fruits? If you can remember, first of all, Razi baradai Rabb. You must think whatsoever is coming to me is coming from Allah. There are intermediary agencies, material or personal. Somebody has given you this thing, but it is not from him, it's from Allah. Somebody has thrown a stone on me, but if it has struck you, it's from Allah. He is only the medium. So whatever is coming from Allah, you should accept it gladly. Razi baradai Rabb. This is the first fruit of iman discussed in Surah At-Taghabun. The second, wa atiullah wa atiur Rasul. And I say in that dars, there are certain fruits which we can call esoteric, which are invisible, can't be seen. These fruits, these flowers are flowering only within the realm of your inner personality. Razi baradai Rabb. But the second is which is visible, which is outside, your outside behavior. Atiullah wa atiur Rasul. Fa in tawallaytum fa innama ala rasulina al-balaghul mubin. And this will be visible, evident to the people. He is obeying Allah. He is obeying the commands of Allah and His Messenger. Then again turning to the esoteric part. Allahu la ilaha illahu wa ala Allahi falyatawakkalil mu'minun. Tawakkul should be only with Allah. وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا مِن دُونِي وَكِيلًا. Sole confidence, total confidence on Allah. Not on the material means, not on other people. And hence, no hope from anyone else except Allah, no fear from anyone else except Allah. Ala inna awliya Allah la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. These are the corollaries of iman. Allazina amanu wa kanu yattaqun. These awliya Allah are not a special species, a different kind of people. No. A mu'min, if he is a real mu'min, is a waliullah. Ala inna awliya Allah la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun allazina amanu wa kanu yattaqun. This is the definition of awliya. They have come to believe, and just motivating force, taqwa, is pushing them forward and forward and forward and forward. This is wilayat. Then the fourth, because you are here in this world, related to this woman, she is your mother. You are related to this, she is your sister. Related to this woman, she is your wife. Related to this girl, she is your daughter. Related to father and brother and sons, and so on, your tribe. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu inna min azwajikum wa auladikum aduwwan lakum fahzaruhu. The natural love that you have for these relations, it's a sign of potential danger. It's the red signal. Beware of them, lest they take you astray, pursuing their wishes, fulfilling their demands, trying to please them. Maybe that you cross the lines of the Sharia. To be on the guard. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu inna min azwajikum wa auladikum aduwwan lakum fahzaruhum. The fifth one, innama amwalukum wa auladukum fitna. These are the things on which you are being tested. Your belongings and your progeny, especially sons. These five things, if you have understood, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَسْتَطَعْتُمْ وَاسْمَعُوا وَأَطِيعُوا وَأَنْفِقُوا خَيْرًا لِأَنفُسِكُمْ. That is the result. Now the same thing you will find here in this hadith. عن أبي العباس عبد الله بن عباس رضي الله عنهما قال كنت خلف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم يوما فقال لي يا غلام إني أعلمك بكلمات. I am going to teach you a few words. احفظ الله يحفظك. Always remain mindful of Allah, and He will grant you protection. فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرْكُمْ. Keep me in your heart and mind. Guard that no moment of yours passes in ghafla. Don't be ghafil. Always remain mindful of Allah. He will protect you. احفظ الله تجده أمامك تجاهك. In another narration of this hadith, the word is amamak. That is why it came on my tongue. If you are remembering Allah, if you keep Him in your mind, you will always find Him before you. But if you have turned your faces against Him in another direction, you are ignoring Him. You believe more in material means. You have more faith in other people. He can do me a favor. Yes. He can solve my problem. Yes. This need of mine can be fulfilled by him. Forgetting Allah. So Allah also leads you to them. Go. Now we also give you over to them. But if you can keep Allah in your mind, ihfazillah yahfazka. Ihfazillah tajidhu tujahak. You'll find him before you. He will never betray you. Iza sa'alta fas'alillah. Whenever you have the need to ask for something, ask Allah and Allah alone. All the hearts of all the human beings are within his two fingers. He can turn the heart of anybody, and the idea would come in his mind, and he will himself come to you and fulfill your need. Why ask him directly? Ask Allah. وَإِذَا سَأَلْتَ فَاسْأَلِ اللَّهِ. Whenever you have to ask, ask Allah. وَإِذَا اسْتَعَنْتَ فَاسْتَعِنْ بِاللَّهِ. Whenever you want some help, ask the help from Allah. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. To say these words and utter these words is easy, but to remain firm on it is not so easy, unless the roots of iman have gone very deep down into your personality. Ahfazillah yahfazka. Ahfazillah tajidhu tajahak. Iza sa'alta fas'alillah wa iza ista'anta fasta'in billah. Wa'lam. And let it be known to you, أن الأمة لو اجتمعت على أن ينفعوك بشيء لم ينفعوك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله لك. If all the people gather together to do some good to you, they will not be able to do any good to you, except the one that Allah had already decreed for you. This is istighna. उनकी उम्मीदें कलील, उनके मकासिद जलील. Cut off all hopes from human beings. Focus all your hopes on Allah. उनकी उम्मीदें कलील, उनके मकासिद जलील. Have higher goals in life and accept the least. When your expectations are not very high, you will be glad with whatever Allah gives you. कि हर साकी मारीख्त आयन अल्ताफस्त. Whatever my saki has put down in my glass, it's all His grace. Whether it is bitter, it appears bitter to me. عسى أن تكرهوا شيئا وهو خير لكم وعسى أن تحبوا شيئا وهو شر لكم والله يعلم وأنتم لا تعلمون. It's just possible that you might dislike something. Something might appear to be very unpleasant for you, but it is good for you. And it's just possible that something is very pleasant, very welcome to you, but it is really harmful for you. Wallahu ya'lamu wa antum la ta'lamun. Allah knows, you don't know. This is Razi Baradai Rabb. हम भी तस्लीम की खू डालेंगे, बेनियाजी तेरी आदत ही सही. तस्लीम और रजा. وَعْلَمْ أَنَّ الْأُمَّةَ لَوِ اجْتَمَعَتْ عَلَىٰ أَن يَنفَعُوكَ بِشَيْءٍ لَمْ يَنفَعُوكَ إِلَّا بِشَيْءٍ قَدْ كَتَبَهُ اللَّهُ لَكَ وَإِنِ اجْتَمَعُوا عَلَىٰ أَن يَضُرُّوكَ بِشَيْءٍ لَمْ يَضُرُّوكَ إِلَّا بِشَيْءٍ قَدْ كَتَبَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ. And if all the people gather together, joined hands with each other to do you some harm, they will not be able to do it, except the thing which Allah has already decided for you. Then why to fear? Whatever has happened comes from Allah. Why huzn? He is my Lord. قُلْ لَنْ يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا هُوَ مَوْلَانَا. Nothing can befall us except that which our Lord has decided for us. And He is our friend. He is not our enemy. If you are a friend of Allah, Allah is your friend. Allahu waliyyul lazina amanu yukhrijuhum min az-zulumati ila an-nur. He is the wali of Ahl Iman. But provided you become a wali for Him, you are the supporters of people who are in revolt against Him. You are serving them for a handful of dollars. You are serving the system. You are like the horses drawing their chariots. And then you ask Allah. This is the incident that was narrated to me by the person, a very extraordinary person who came in my life. That was Haji Abdul Wahid. He did his MA in English literature in 1930. He participated in the Hijrah movement, the Hijrah towards Afghanistan, during the movement of caliphate, etc., etc. So there was in him enthusiasm for Islamic work. He remained together with Maulana Ali Mia for 1 year in Lucknow, teaching him English and learning from him Arabic. He was a personal friend of Maulana Muhammad Manzoor Nomani. He was very near to Maulana Maududi also. But he remained nearest to Maulana Ilyas, rahimahullah. But this incident took place in his life when he went to Hijaz for Hajj. It was, I think, early 40s. There he met Maulana Ubaidullah Sindhi, the revolutionary. And he was so much impressed by his personality that he stayed back. After performing Hajj, he stayed back in Mecca for another 1 year to enjoy his company, to benefit from his company. And during that period, this incident took place. He was the principal of a high school, but that high school was of a higher order than the ordinary high schools in Quetta. Now, Maulana Ubaidullah Sindhi was impressing upon him, you must give up this service. Go ahead, serve your Lord, serve Allah, serve His deen. Teaching English. Alihada khuliqta, alihada umirta. Just as Ibrahim bin Adam, he was, so to say, a king, and he was going out for shikar, for game. And there he heard a voice. Might be the voice came from his own conscience, from his own soul and spirit. Might be from some angel. Ya Ibrahim, alihada khuliqta, alihada umirta. Is this the thing for which you were created? Is this the thing for which your Lord has directed you? And that was the turning point in his life. So Maulana Ubaidullah Sindhi said to him, give up these things. Maulana Haji Abdul Wahid says that once I said, yes, we want to do it, but we can't, eat the breads of Jumerat's evening. Meaning thereby, how can we accept our livelihood being cared by Muslims? We need something to survive. If we devote all our time, where from shall we eat? The only way will be that the Muslims look after you. So he used the word, the worst word that could be used, Jumerat ki rotiyon par to nahi pal sakte. The taunt in it, it pricked. I can just imagine even now the way Maulana Haji Abdul Wahid was narrating this incident to me. For a moment he remained quiet. Ubaidullah Sindhi. First he said, yes, it's okay, you are correct. You are a very honorable type of people. How can you accept these charities, these meager assistance from the Muslims? Yes. But then suddenly it changed. Jalan, तुम्हें शर्म नहीं आती? अंग्रेज की गाड़ी में जुते हुए हो घोड़ों की तरह, और वहां से तनख्वाह मिलती है तो ये तुम्हारे लिए इज्जत का मकाम है। और मुसलमान गरीब अगर अपना पेट काट कर तुम्हारे लिए कुछ पेश कर दे तो ये तुम्हारे लिए तौहीन और तजलील का बाइस। This we must remember. What we are doing. अलिहाजा खुलिकना हम लिहाजा उमिरना। We belong to the Ummah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What for was this Ummah raised? For doing what we are doing? So, Ya ghulamu inni uallimuka bi kalimatin. Ahfazillah yahfazk. Ihfazillah tajidu tujahak. Idha sa'alta fas'alillah. Wa idha ista'anta fasta'in billah. وَعَلَمَ أَنَّ الْأُمَّةَ لَمْ اجْتَمَعَتْ عَلَىٰ أَن يَنْفَعُوكَ بِشَيْءٍ لَمْ يَنْفَعُوكَ إِلَّا بِشَيْءٍ قَدْ كَتَبَهُ اللَّهُ لَكَ وَإِنِ اجْتَمَعُوا عَلَىٰ أَن يَضُرُّوكَ بِشَيْءٍ لَمْ يَضُرُّوكَ إِلَّا بِشَيْءٍ قَدْ كَتَبَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْكَ رُفِعَتِ الْأَقْلَامُ. The pens have already been lifted. وَجَفَّتِ الصُّحُفُ. And the pages and the books have already dried. Now what is this writing? The writing we read in the 4th hadith. On the 120th day, after 120 days, the fetus is in the womb of the mother, the angel is sent. Yu'maru bi kalimatin bi katbi rizqihi wa ajalihi. Everything is written. Whatever is going to come to you is written. And after that writing, the ink has dried up. And the pens have already been lifted. Rufiyatil aqlam wa jaffatis suhuf. This hadith has been narrated by Imam Tirmidhi rahimahullah. Now come to the last. That is hadith number 38.